"Well," Fox began to say as he came down the stairs. Then a big oak door swung open, banging against the wall. It was Hawk and the others coming out from the passage that led from the dungeons that held the children and the other prisoners. As they came through, from the corner of his eye, Fox saw a dragon on the battlements. It was one of the officers. He launched a lance that headed straight for Hawk and the children. Fox shouted, "Move!" He ran towards them and jumped, knocking Hawk and the children back down the stairs. The lance hit Fox square in the chest, nailing him to the door. Hawk came back up the stairs shouting at her brother, "You stupid fool, you could have killed me and the children." Then she looked and saw Fox stuck to the door. His feet were not touching the ground and his whole body was twitching. "Oh my God, the last thing he hears from me is an insult." She burst into tears. Cat came up behind her. She turned to him and said, "He saves my life and I scream at him for it. What can I do to make amends?" "Well, for starters, you can get me off this door. It's not a very dignified way to die," said Fox. The rebels gathered round him. The rebels gathered round to get him down from the door. Reed was the first to get to Fox. He smiled and said, "Looks like we won't be meeting on the field of honour, my friend. This is going to hurt. Brace yourself," said Reed, and pulled the lance out. Fox didn't murmur. "He's in shock," Reed said. "Lay him down gently." Hawk was now fussing about. Patch howled and ran to his master and laid down across his legs. "It's no good, boy. You can't help." The dog just lay on his master, crying. As Hawk looked up to see where the lance had come from, she saw their cousin walking along the battlements behind the officer. Looking down at Fox on the floor, Bull went berserk and suddenly grabbed the dragon by the throat, then punched him in the face. Then, before the creature had time to defend itself, Bull dealt it a fatal blow by headbutting it in the jaw, practically taking its jaw off its face. Then, while the dragon was still stunned, Bull picked the creature up and with a mighty roar lifted it above his head. This was no mean feat, as the dragon was twice Bull's weight. You could see his muscles straining under the pressure. Bull then launched it from the battlements, sending it crashing into a horse rail. You could hear its back breaking as it hit. There was no point checking. It was a foregone conclusion that it was dead. No one could survive that sort of impact. Bull started to run along the battlement, heading towards the stairs. Then he saw a pile of hay and thought, "Why waste time?" and jumped down. As he passed the dragon he had thrown off the battlements, he spat on it and kicked his lifeless body. "You scum!" By now the others had taken Fox's breastplate off to assess the amount of damage done. "It's bad," Reed said. Bull ran over and pushed everybody out the way. He took one look at Fox and tried to push Fox's insides back in. Fox was screaming in pain. "Bull, stop it, you're hurting me. It's no good, I'm finished." Bull put his head in his giant hands and sobbed. Then from the corner of his eye he saw the dragon, who was to have been executed on the king's orders. He jumped to his feet, knocked the dragon to the floor and started to punch him. Then he took out his dagger. The children shouted, "Stop him, father! This is the dragon that saved your life at Castlewood. If he had not listened to Auntie Elk, you would have been dead then, and for its good deed he was sentenced to death. Bull, stop, I gave my word. They have deprived me of my life. Will you deprive me of my honour and my final resting place on the great battlefield, said Fox. Bull stopped in his tracks. By now he had a mixture of the dragon's blood and Fox's all over his face. Paul, take Bull away and clean him up and cool him down. Fox looked at the dragon. What's your name? Yoshfel. In my language it means one of feelings. Then your kind are split up and sent to different villages. I want you to go with my children. They seem fond of you. Do you know, I never did know your king's name. His name was Axmod, meaning death. Oh, surprise, surprise, said Fox. Bull and Hawk returned. I need to talk to you. Bull, listen carefully. You must cut off my tail, as you will probably be the only one of the rebels still left who will carry on fighting. Wear it on your waistband each time you go into battle. You must not forget to wear it, or your luck will run out. Do you understand? Said Fox. Yes, I understand, and I will remember, said Bull. Hawk pulled Paul forward, and Bull took out the knife and cut off Fox's pigtail. Then he walked over to the horses, took out a needle and thread from one of the saddlebags, and started to bind Fox's hair together good and tight. Then he sat there, clutching the ponytail in his hands. Hawk knelt down beside Fox. You made it this far. You can't die now. I told you I did not think I would make it. But, as always, you did not believe a word I said. There is no hope for me. Tak was the only one who could have saved me, and he's dead and gone.